Hi, this is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking about prophets. I told you my next video would be, and I always have a hard time doing next videos, follow-up. I will do this. I'm halfway through editing, but I thought I need to talk about this first. Why? Because I've been thinking about it today, and it's very heavy on my heart. And the question is, why do people hang on every word of their prophet when their prophets fail so much? And yet people are hungry for it. I believe some of the answers might come from fortune telling. Because fortune tellers can actually create addictions for people. People actually become addicted to fortune telling. They might become addicted to reading their horoscopes. There's an addiction that they want to know, they want to see what's going to happen next. Because there's anxiety about the future, and they want to relieve anxiety. And the very nature of addiction is it provides a temporary something that we long for, that we want. And that's what the prophets do. Whether they're right or wrong, they offer that temporary relief from anxiety. And that becomes addictive. Because, and this is something we find not only in fortune telling, but we also find this in future casting, in business, in all different types of trying to tell the future, trying to discern the future. We are uncomfortable with the future. There is anxiety involved. We do not have control over the future, so we seek to find control. And the best way of finding that is by predicting and then working out as well as we can exactly what our prediction is. I know tomorrow I will be going to work. Can something come in the way? Yes. There are many things that could come in the way. I might get sick. I might have a stroke and die. There are so many things that could come in the way. They might call off work because of a weird snowstorm in the middle of April, at the end of April in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There's quite a few things that could go weirdly wrong. And this is something about the future that we do not have control over. So we do seek, generally speaking, as human beings across the board, we want to know as much about the future as possible in order to gain control. And especially in the case of the prophets and their followers, to find victory over fear. This lack of control about the future creates fear, and that fear wants to be relieved. How do I know fear? Well, first of all, every one of these prophets that I'm studying and reading about, every one of them talks about fear. Overcome fear through trust. Overcome fear as they present prophecies. I believe their prophecies are only giving temporary relief to fear, and they're not dealing with fear properly. So their people following them still will have fear about the future, especially since subconsciously they are picking up on the fact that prophet so-and-so has been wrong. So how do I know if he's been right today? I had some thoughts today and really wonder if what they're doing is actually promoting and accentuating long-term fear among their disciples. But I do need to work that one through a little better. Finally, I'm going to give you one example that I think is very appropriate for this. Paula White had a breakdown shortly after President Trump was certain not to get back in the White House. After all their attempts to change the elections, he was unable to get back in. Paula White had a breakdown. I did a video on it. The one thing I didn't catch until I was already posting that video and rewatching it for the umpteenth time, she was afraid for her kids. Why? Because it turns out she has this deep-seated fear of the future without President Trump in charge, without the Republican Party and the Christians dominating the world. She has a deep fear. And it is also as a result of all of her ideas that this is the moment. This is the moment Christ takes over and really steers our country in a godly way. She believes perhaps that the wrath of God is now going to be on this country because Democrats are in control. I didn't get into that. For one, a lot of this is conjecture, but the fear is not. She brought up that fear, and she brought up the fear about the future. People fear the future, and people want to know what it's going to be. They always presented a very good future. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. But also, just as effective, sometimes people like to present a very negative future. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until the Antichrist takes over. And then it's going to get really bad. Either way, we have control. We know what the future is going to bring. And if we know what the future is going to bring, then we can respond properly. In the case of the prophets, you can prepare for a war, as Rick Joyner tells you to. Or as Jim Baker, prepare by storing up thousands of dollars of terrible food that you'll never eat. Either way, it's really all coming down to the same thing. People want to be in control. They want control of the future. And this goes contrary to what Jesus said. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Instead, you all have a good day.